Hello, everybody. We are back with another day in world history class. This time, I'm going to show you how to use graphic organizers for reading our historical passages. So, what exactly are graphic organizers, you may ask? Well, you see here, graphic organizers are a diagram that uses concept vocabulary to show the relationships and concepts of reading. So basically, they graphically organize the content, to say the least, right? You got a big wall of text, not exactly easy to read that. So what graphic organizers do is that instead of a big wall of text, it presents the main ideas in a more easy to understand way. It shows it shows the connections. It uses the main points, like concept vocabulary, and it shows you the relationships of that. You draw connections with that. And it helps simplify the main ideas. Really, it shows you like I said before, their connections. It helps visualize it. Is what it really does. Instead of, like I said before, big wall of text. Not exactly easy to comprehend. It shows the same ideas inside big wall of text, but in a more easy to understand, more easy to please way. Sort of similar to like graphs and like math data and statistics. This one's for reading, and there are indeed many different types for many different purposes. We'll get more into that in a little bit. So, how do we use it in this class? Well, you see, they're very easy to make, and they're very effective at making sense of a confusing text. So, in history classes, right, in really just any class that involves a lot of reading, big thing of words, that's, not exactly not everybody can just easily just, stare at that the whole time and, understand everything. No. So, graphic organizers, they'll visually organize all the messages, the concepts, the relationships, and much more of that text into something a lot more simple, easy to understand, not a big wall of text. And also because of that, they can help encourage reading because, it gives students the more ability to actually understand something that would seem really challenging. However, now they'll actually be able to understand it because it's more condensed, more easier just to show. So as far as this history class goes, it's history class, right? There's full of names, there's full of dates, full of places, concepts, ideas, events, all sorts of things, right? And I mean, obviously, there's so much of it, you're not gonna be able to memorize every single one little thing and all what it means, especially if it's in some big wall of text. So that's why we have graphic organizers. They'll graphically organize everything presented in a more easier to understand way. And I'll show you some examples, and we'll create one for a passage on China's Opium Wars. So here's what I'm talking about. These are some graphic organizer examples. Obviously, I have the classic timeline. We'll get back to that. Concept maps. Basically, you have a big concept of text. Here's some little smaller subheadings, and here's kind of what those mean as an idea. But you have another timeline in a more colorful way. You got an essay outline. The introduction of something, thesis, paragraph 1, 2, 3, conclusion. Another example, Venn diagram, pretty self-explanatory, right? You have idea 1, idea 2, how are they similar, and how are they not similar, right? That's a graphic organizer right there. So you have, instead of a big wall of text or two texts presenting two different arguments, this kind of more summarizes it, you could say. Here's another one. Basically, you have central idea, smaller ideas, and smaller ideas around that. Here's another examples. You got this idea, how it connects to this, and this, and how all these things connect to this, and this, and this, and this, and this. So that's another graphic example, graphic organizer showing you all of the different connections and ideas and everything that goes connecting here. This is more for an English class, but it kind of shows you the 5 elements of a plot, like basic graphic organizer, showing you like a story, the introduction, climax, all that stuff. We're not English class. So, modeling 1. This is a big wall of text I'm referring to. No, we are not going to read this one. This is the B-movie script. It's 13,767 words. I could model this, but why are we? I don't want to read all that. So, we're instead going to model something that is a bit more closer to our class, such as this here document right here, which is the exact same thing as this paper right here that is all on your desk. This is a handout that has a bunch of information about the Opium Wars in China. So, and we're going to, basically, I'm going to show y'all how to use a graphic organizer on this document using a timeline. So as I said before, timeline's very useful in history because, dates, right? It goes time-wise. So at the beginning of this thing, it talks about how before 1838, Britain sells a lot of opium to China, and that gets them addicted to it, makes Britain a whole lot of money, okay? And so what happens in 1838? Well, you see, China is going to try to destroy all the opium, destroy all the trade, the dealers, the addicts, trying to get rid of the whole thing. And so because that happens in 1838, as shown here, Britain's obviously not going to, take that stand. They're going to come over there and completely defeat, basically just easily defeat China, force them to do more opium trade. Because, Britain was basically the most powerful country at the time. China wasn't exactly all that at that time, especially due to the fact that everybody was all addicted to opium, which is basically like heroin, painkillers. And so Britain easily wins, and they force even more opium trade. Because of that, in the 1840s, 50s, Chinese people are not happy about the fact that even more opium trade's going on. This causes massive unrest and protests and everything. Because of that, that kind of helps. That basically threatens the more expanding opium trade going on. Because of this, we get to another opium war. So the Second Opium War from 1856 to 1860, Britain, France, and the U.S. all come in and basically once again easily defeat China and force a lot more opium trade. However, this time, China's a lot more weaker at this point. So China and so Britain, France, the U.S., and a bunch of other countries throughout the late 1800s are going to basically control China to the point where they're just just full on, make China their own sphere of influence. That way they can't really go back to protest, and that way you can control more China, more weakening it, and of course make more money off of it. So everything said in here came from this text, big wall of text, timeline of a graphic organizer. See how nicely that works out? So we will be getting more into this right about now.